Welcome to the StockMiner.com studios. I'm your Stockminer Brian Johnson, and we head into a new week, yet again, of trading. Something going on this week. I think it's important. Let me rack. Oh, yeah, elections. So we have elections. We have this whole QE2 thing that they're going to be discussing as well this week. Initial claims, some other. So there is some good data. There are some big things happening this week in the markets. Now, the big question is, are any of them market movers? Of course, everybody and their dog will be thinking that, yeah, absolutely they are. And this is what's really going to make the market move one way or the other. Some will say up, some will say down. I honestly don't care. I'm just going to wait and see what the charts tell me, and then I'll follow what the charts do. But until those moments happen, guys, don't get biased one way or the other. Don't think that just because QE2 is now over with and the elections are over with that the market's going to drop in its pullback. Don't think that it's going to rise in its pullback. Let the market tell you which way it's going to go. Is it more probable that something big will happen this week and we'll have a more major move in the markets? Yeah, it is. It really is. Odds are that we will have some sort of a major move in the markets at some point during the week. But we don't know which day. We could wander sideways, down a little, up a little, Monday and Tuesday, waiting for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to roll around before some of the bigger moves come. Mondays have been pretty good for the most part to the markets over the last umpteen weeks. Seemed to like to start the week neutral to up a little bit and then kind of wander into Tuesday before making more of a move come usually Wednesday afternoon is when we start to see the market start to do something. So, and that could absolutely happen again this week. We do have elections on Tuesday. It would make sense that things would just kind of wander around, just as they have been for the last few days, few weeks into the elections. Here we are on the Dow. Guys, watch this level above us. This above 11,150 or above 11,200 for your entries on the long side in the Dow. If we can get back below, I'm going to still say this 10,950 area or 10,875, that's a little ways off. But if you want to take a more aggressive approach now with the 200 way up here, I would say that below this 10,950-ish area would be a place to start looking at some potential short positions for you intraday traders. If you want to swing trade, you really want a good, hard, solid close above this area. If you want to take a long above this area when it gets there, you're going to want to keep a tight stop until it's proven that it's going to stay there. Right now, this is still neutral to bullish, though. Look, this move up has held up here. 11,200, really 11,250, and we are right at 11,118. That's not that far from these overhead areas, and we've stayed there for day after day after day. And as long as we hold the 20-day, still possible that we can wander our way around into the first part of the week, either sideways to up. NASDAQ on a 60 here, you can see it hasn't, like I said, touched this blue line, which is really what we're watching. This has been a very good play to the long side over the past few weeks, but you can see it's starting to slow down here as well, putting in some very, very small candles right here at the very end. Trying to push its way back above 2125 or 2130 into that 2140 to 2150 area on the NDX. So we're running out of space here to the upside for the bulls to work with. It can turn at any time. You want to be prepared for it, but as always, neutral to bullish in my stance, taking profits when it comes, being careful with my entries. As long as you get a good entry, don't get greedy. Don't think this thing's going to run to 2180 or 2160 or even 2150 right away. It could run for 5-10 points. Stop, come right back, and we end up with those same doji candles that we've been seeing on the dailies. From a weekly, though, still very bullish on the markets. SPX 60-minute, going to leave this blue line in. It's been played around with here, but it's still holding very well in most respects as support and resistance. Pushes to the upside are what we're watching here. Above the 1190 area, then you'll want to watch this 1195 as it creeps its way upwards. This blue line may come into contention once again in and above 1190. Then you're looking at 1194, 1195 area. Below us here, 1165, below the 200 really, if you want to take a more conservative entry. Same thing here. We have not broken, nor have we actually even tested the 20. We've come close a couple of times, close enough to call it, maybe a retest, but have not actually tagged it 1, 2, 3 times we've come very close but have not actually touched it. So below the 20, places to look for your short entries. Otherwise, this up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 candles sideways, basically. If you go all the way back to this little rickshaw man here, this is just bullish action. As long as it stays up there, the bears are not trying to take control here in any way, shape, or form. Let it break those levels before you enter with a more major shorting opportunity. SPX weekly holding at the 200 week. Let's see if that actually makes it through to the end of this week. VIX on a daily back at the top of this chart. It has held 1, 2, 3 times in the past. Will it hold this time? No reason to think it won't, since we've seen it tagged and held at this point this many times. But we just want to watch the break above here. If it gets to 22, okay, yeah, raise an eyebrow. But above 2350 is now where we need to start getting a little bit more on the side here from the VIX standpoint. So wait and watch that level. If it stays anywhere back below this area, it's still not a lot of fear pouring into the markets. I really do believe that if this market's going to drop, this VIX is going to spike. I'm really struggling at this time to believe that we're going to drop and the VIX is only going to go up a point or two, and then it's going to go up another point or two. I think we're going to get a day here sooner or later of one really big spike in the VIX. That could be a 4, 5, 6, 8 point spike when this is all over. Much as what we saw back here. See what we saw back, this really big run here. That might be what we see over here. Wait for that break. VIX on a weekly, same type of a look. We'll see if that holds in this falling wedge by the end of this week. Apple on a 60-minute. I went ahead and left my 2 solid blue lines in, which I like. Added a little dotted line just to see. I'm not in love with it right now, but I do. It's valid in and by itself, so it's not too bad right here. Still watching below 300 and ultimately below 295. You can see what we're looking at here. 294.75 is really this level back here of support. Below 300 and below 295, still your areas to watch within Apple. You can see it dropping back and slowly falling out of this blue line now. So any push to the upside, watch for a retest on the underside of this, which is still, because it's Apple, look, 310. That's a $10 move at this point. So we're still watching for entries to the long side as well. Maybe squeeze a little bit more out. If you are already long Apple from way back when, this is a point where you'll have to start to make some decisions. Once again, waiting for breaks below 295 before you start really thinking hard about that. But I would recommend that you maybe start locking in some profits on Apple here at some point or another. Find your risk and go with it. Plan your trade your plan. And it's the same stuff I tell my students all the time. Moving up, pulling back, there's really nothing overly bearish on the weekly quite yet. We're starting to see things slowly break down on the daily, but the weekly still looks good. Let's see if it'll hold there. Maybe even one more drop before the end of this week. One more little pullback here would not surprise me, but we don't want to see a major move. 270, that's a pretty major move if it ends up closing down in that area. That is something then that we have to really reconsider with the whole Apple move here. Smaller moves, not so bad. FAS, okay, change some lines. This is what we're looking at, looking for drops below here, moves above here for your entries. This is still stuck in a big symmetrical triangle. Watch for a break above here and a break below here for your entries, long or short. FAZ, doing the same type of a look. It's a nice little channel to the upside, looking for breaks below here for a short, breaks above here for a long, which ultimately on the daily still put us at about below $11.75 and above $13 now with this particular falling wedge we've been watching here for a while. Okay, so still below 11.75 and above 13 for your entries, much as it has been. This thing is still sideways, nothing to be swing trading, only something to be day trading, but you should have some extra stocks in your back pockets in order to be doing that. I've got some good plays this week on my subscribers newsletter if you guys want to try it out. $15 a month, not a week, a month. $15 for a month. Let me say that again. $15 an entire month. That would be 30 days. 30 days in November. It's not bad. So think about it. Otherwise, I will be back with you again, of course, tomorrow night, as always. Watch for these breaks. We're in this little symmetrical triangle type of a pattern here. We're just waiting for a break one way or the other. As you can see, as long as you play the pattern itself, you're going to get your hand chopped off. Let's wait for a break one way or the other and see if the futures give us any lead into what we may see Monday into Tuesday. Then let's find out what happens after the elections. QE2's announced. Maybe we have to wait for the end of the week, before it all works its way out. There will be a more major move at some point during the week. Whether it's up or down, I don't know, and I'm not going to guess. Completely disingenuous of me to try to tell you that we're going up or we're going down. I will tell you this is still a bullish pattern, what we're watching here. So I'm still neutral to bullish in the short term, but any breaks back below this, yeah, that's gone for me then. That'll be a different look for me once we start to close and get below this area here. We'll reevaluate when we get there. See you again tomorrow night. Bye.